Everybody,
Gotta get a bell.
Judy's finishing passing out. If you would like a. All right, thank you, Judy. All right, everybody, call to order at 7:03. First off, welcome everyone this evening. First is a call to order and to certify quorum, and we have three, so we have a quorum. We're missing two this evening. One or both illness, or one illness, one out of town. So
No,
Mike will be taking over Chad's duties this evening.
And Scott's, I believe.
Okay. So first call is to ratify approval of the meeting minutes. Any
no changes.
changes? Thank you. Next is approval and ratify of actions of the board since the last open meeting. And you hope everyone has one to read it. It's online as well. The next is the president's report, and I will read. Since I couldn't print it off, my printer would not work. So since our last open meeting, the board has been diligently working to address several important issues within our community. These efforts have included developing the 2027 budget, coordinating repairs to the pickleball court, monitoring the pond water levels due to the historic drought, collaborating with Boats and Docks Committee on boat dock replacement, and addressing solicitation concerns within the community. We have conducted several budget meetings with residents to gather input and discuss priorities for the coming year. In addition, we've worked closely with Boats and Docks Committee to identify solutions that will make our boat ramp more secure and accessible for our residents. As you are all aware, our annual elections are fast approaching. The nominating committee will provide an update later in the meeting on the current status of the nominations and the upcoming election-related events. Finally, I would like to encourage residents to consider volunteering on one of the community committees. Our volunteers play a vital role in helping our community thrive, and we are grateful to welcome new members. And we would like to thank you for your continued support and involvement in our community. Next is the treasurer's report.
Just handed it out. You can look at the treasury report if you have it there and basically see that basically we're right where we were the other day when we talked. It's we got $2,521,333.42 in the reserve. Don't go crazy. That's a lot of, it is a lot of money. I don't have it in my bank account, but I don't have the bills we have or the incurring expenses we will have. Dana, you could tell me, but I believe the reserve thing is we need at least what, 70% is what they said.
Is what they want. That is subject to all sorts of interpretations. 70 would be a lovely pie in the sky. It would be lovely to have that, but it doesn't look at the intricacies of the fact that we have some very big heavy ticket items and some very small. But the reserve study will be updated probably next month, and we interview everybody and say, if we had to replace this right now, what would it cost? And that's the most valuable aspect of that. I would say we're at least comfortably, depending on our costs, a ramp repair versus replacement are two very different things. So right now, if we were to replace it, we're at about 40–45%.
45%? Okay. Well,
And I'll tell you, I mean, they typically say you're in good shape if you're between 30 and 70, which is a ginormous spread. So there are very few communities that are at 70% funded. It's very rare. So
other than that, I can tell you, we have been putting a lot more money into CDs and into the money market to draw as much interest as we can on the money we're not spending. I don't I don't even do my own checking accounts or any budget. You'd have to ask Judy how to do all that stuff. So I'm not the perfect person to give you money advice, but I will tell you that, I do know about putting money in the money market and CDs because I do it myself and we're making decent interest on it. Any questions?
To piggyback on that, just to let everyone know, we had 2 budget meetings and really I wasn't able to make the first one and
10 people the first.
I was late on the second one because I thought it was an hour later. But anyway, they were still talking, so that was good. We had a really good turnout for the second one, honestly. Over the years that I've come to those budget meetings, this year by far has been the largest number of people we've ever had show up for a budget meeting. So
How many?
that second time we had, 15 or so people, which, I mean, honestly, last year, the second meeting, we had 2 people show up. So we appreciate the involvement. Just one other thing, as far as the reserves, we only took out, right at $1,500 in the reserves in June and in July. I think there's going to be a few in July, but we're
We'll take it out for the pickleball court.
yeah, and we'll talk about that in shortly, but if you have any in-depth questions, obviously, just, yeah.
On CDs and mutual funds, what's our approximate return on those?
Glad you asked that. When we're making these decisions, a money market account, you would expect would be a lot less of an interest rate compared to a CD. At the time we were making the decisions a couple months ago, the difference was 20 basis points or 0.2%. 18-month CD versus totally available money.
Right.
There were some issues with yield versus not yield was one of those. So we took all that into consideration. So what we did is, if we could put it away for 18 months and get the extra 20 basis points, knowing that we have some coming due in October and November, lock it up. We still have the money market as well, but we even took advantage because we knew we were having others come due of just that extra 20 basis points, but still have the availability of money market, the operating account, and coming due CDs, hopefully at a higher rate at the time, which we could always put money market. So very fluid,
So
but
about,
locked totally.
what are we looking at per year about?
3.8.
3.8, I mean, that relates to what, 78,000? 75,000?
Not really, because not all those funds are in investments.
Okay.
Because we have to use some and have it available, so it wouldn't be the total amount. Plus you have ARC funds, which is a little bit different, some investment, I don't think all of that's invested in any. Only because it's technically not ours, I think we do invest it, but it's gotta be, as soon as they're done with the bills, you don't have to give money back, it's fluid. But 3.8 is an average that I think we're getting right now.
And stand up, what we think we're wrong here.
That is all. We're getting about 3.8%, some are 3.6, 3.8, 3.85, but it's all varying ladders. And then you have money markets as well, which is immediately available for those needs. So what we're doing is looking at the money market, how much, what we're likely to need in the next year, even in reserves, and then CDs, what is coming due that we know we're going to turn around and invest. And then what are we safe to keep in there, earning slightly higher interest rates. So, but it's all kind of, all the time we're kind of looking at it. So, but it's all safe. It's all FDIC insured.
I was just kind of looking at the amount that we're getting, like between 65 and 75,000 a year as on our return.
That is a good guess. That's a perfect guess. That's about where I was, 65, 70.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
what we've got, talking about the cash versus, so right now, operational, what we've got in our operational account is $396,000. That's to pay the everyday bills, that's to pay the landscapers, that type of stuff. The 1.9 million is actually what we have in investments, money market CDs. that entire amount. So the total that is actually, you take out the ARC, we've got $2.3 million, which is the most we've ever had combined as far as reserve and operational cash. But to that point, if you know what's going on as far as our amenities over the next 5 years or so, and some of them, one large one's coming up next year, is going to take a hit, obviously, to that. But that was something that we discussed in the budget meetings, and what we're trying to do is come up with a plan, a 5-year plan of where our dues are, what we project increases to be, to make sure that after this next 5-year run, we expect to have really all of our major amenity pieces taken care of. And roughly, if things go well and the preceding boards approve and the community approves the increases in the dues over the next 5 years, we should be roughly sitting where we are now as far as what money we have in the reserve and have these other things paid for. So that would give us a good leeway. You know, we'd have years at that point to build up substantial funds to pay for it when it comes up again. So next is the ABCPOA. ABCPOA. I don't know why they come up with that thing, but anyway, the only update is that the 3 bills that I discussed at the last meeting, the Assembly came in, the short session ended with no action on any of those 3 bills. They are actually coming back in session on July the 27th just to finish up a few minor issues that they have that they're dealing with. So we expect those bills, nothing to be done with them until the full session next year. So no update as far as that goes. Again, it's not as restrictive. The bills that they have now are not as restrictive as the bill that they originally proposed several years ago. So if these things go through, it would not be a huge issue for the HOAs, but we prefer them not to go through. Next is the ARC.
Okay, the ARC's an easy one. They had 4 new bills approved. They've been on a slower side, but on the positive side of the ARC, they are actually digitalizing everything. So we're going to get rid of folders. I don't know. I believe Scott put out a memo or email a while back saying if you wanted your house plans, once you got them in, you could have your house plans and everything else. We're just trying to make it all electronic and keep it that way. So
I would reach out again, once they get them digitalized. If you don't want your plans, they will be destroyed.
yeah, they're going
So-
to shred them if you don't want them.
You paid for them, they're yours. We've got a copy of mine. It's just interesting to have.
I got a copy of yours.
All right, next, Charlie.
Hey, good evening. Charlie Collins, Committee Chair for the Boats and Docks Committee. So current activities or project status, we have 5 remaining spots in the storage lot, 2 on the asphalt area, 3 in the fenced-in area, and 0 spots remain in the Regal lot in the back of the neighborhood. Just as a reminder for the boat ramp, especially during the summer, as it's crowded, if the water park runs out of spots, there's overflow parking. Here in front of the extended storage lot, there are 4 no parking signs. Once you get into the area where people store their boats on the asphalt, if you're unsure where those signs are, a good rule of thumb is don't block your resident from accessing their boat in the storage lot. You'll probably be all right. Let's see, I'll come back to that one. So working with the technology committee, we are going to be putting an arm back at the boat ramp. There'll be a new guest pass process. We don't have that flushed out yet because we still have, as the Boats and Docks Committee, got to circle up and figure out how we're going to policy that up and send it to the board for approval. But just know that arm will be coming back, and before it's functional, we'll send out guidance so everyone knows what to expect. Tomorrow, weather permitting, the boat ramp will be closed from approximately 9 a.m. to 11:30 for pressure washing. Our goal is to try to get that ramp pressure washed once a quarter, because as you know, if you use it, it gets pretty slick, especially at low tide. You know, there's been quite a few folks to slip and fall and separate shoulders. So there we go. The boat ramp. I know I get asked a lot of questions about this. If this pops off a question for any of you, please feel free to ask. But this afternoon, I did talk to the engineer again. We right now have 3 contractors looking at bidding on the ramp project. One contractor does have all the engineering plans. It's been going back and forth to the engineer with lots of questions to make sure that they have a good idea of what's expected by the engineer. So we hope to get a quote from them pretty soon. I know I've been saying that for a while, I feel like, but that contractor builds a lot of ramps between Charleston, South Carolina, and the Morehead City area. So he stays pretty busy. The second contractor we had was supposed to meet with us on the 15th of July. Myself, the engineer, and the committee liaison, and he was unable to attend, and we're working right now to reschedule that one. And then a third contractor was contacted and has the engineering plans. He wants to look at those before he decides to bid out on those. The permits for the ramp are in progress and should be submitted within the next 10 days, according to the engineer. And I think I've said this before, it'll take about 6 to 10 months for permits to be approved. So best case scenario, board approves the funds. We don't start construction to the ramp at the earliest, the late fall 27, no matter what. There's a lot of things that go into that as far as dredging and when you can do all that, which is going to take a little bit of to do our ramp. So once the construction starts, they estimate 3 to 4 months from start to finish. So that's where we stand with the ramp. That's all I have. Does anyone have any questions? All right,
Yes, sir.
Community.
Well, I'm Bob O'Mara from Communications. Jim's not here with us today. Vicky is. We're continuing to do our email blasts, get new members into the system, and maintain the system. With the people that sell have to come out, and the new ones in. I don't remember what else. Working with David Fielder on some infrastructure, so we can get some database back in. So all the scanning that's getting done and all our data that we're generating has a safe home and something we can easily get to. You hadn't mentioned that the ARC and compliance documents have been merged. It's just ARC, and the compliance and ARC request forms have been merged, and it's the ARC request form. I don't think there's anything else. Any questions?
I have one. As far as the Facebook page goes, how? That's not communications?
It's communications, yeah.
Okay, it's just in general. How do you vet who gets on that page? Because some
They're
people
supposed to
don't.
be a member of the community.
But my question is, some people don't use their real name.
If they're not using their real name, they shouldn't be getting in. If they're not a member of the community. Are you saying they're using a member of the community's name?
No. They go by a different name.
Let me add something real quick that VJ just put in online. She said that the Facebook page is hers. She started it and is not affiliated with the board or communications or anything. But so it's totally just an independent.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't do anything but read on it.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah,
sorry.
so the Facebook page was opened up outside of the community.
Okay.
Their
Vicky,
community
Vicky.
members are members, community members are administrators of that site. The board has absolutely nothing to do with it whatsoever. We don't respond to anything on, Facebook.
If we ask you to reach out to the board or us individually, but as far as the Facebook, it is completely separate from, it's not a official communication. If you see something on there, it's not from the board. It's just the community residents.
Administered by the community, and it's not sanctioned by the board, why is a board member running it?
Because she started it, I believe, before she was on the board.
Like,
And she's an administrator. She's one of, I think, 3 or 4 5 administrators.
But I'll say if you do see somebody out there that aren't supposed to be and you know it, maybe contact BJ and she can help with.
It's just hard to distinguish because if you go to a resident list or lot owner list and you can't find that name, who is that person?
Yeah.
They don't use the picture.
She did say that when they join, they have to give their property address and or lot number. And we validate it. I mean, I know I have seen some people that, yeah, it's a different name. Or it could be a family member of someone.
Okay, that's fine, as long as somebody's
Aware.
somebody who, if something were to be. If something were to happen, how would you find that person? You know,
Yeah.
they don't exist as that thing, that's what it is.
And BJ is online. She wanted everybody to know she just didn't want to share her illness. So she's just on here for Zoom.
Being vetted, that's fine.
My concern then is if it's not Oyster Harbor official, how come it's called Oyster Harbor HOA or whatever it's called? Because that to me gives the impression it's part of the community and part of, backed by the board, backed by.
That's just
everything.
what they decided to call it. I mean, we could call it another community.
It's official.
Yeah.
So I think it's
Maybe you would
confusing
like
to
it.
people
Hmm.
with that.
Well, I'll tell you the kind of the backstory of that. When that first came up about a Facebook page, we went back and forth as the board initially, like, do we want to be a part of this as a board? And we decided no, that we did not want to be a part of it. We didn't want to sanction it because the information gets out that is not officially from the board and everyone thinks it's officially from the board.
Right,
So-
so is there any explanation or telling people that this is, this, some people look at it and think, well, this is what's really going, or
Right,
that the
right.
board has
And-
put
and
this
we-
out here.
I'll say in our last closed session meeting that we had, we spoke about sending an e-blast out that says, just so everyone is aware, this is not an official vehicle by which the board
Well, we could put a disclaimer maybe.
talks with the community.
And you just
Yeah, we
change
could-
the name and maybe inside Oyster Harbor.
Maybe put
page,
residence
put
page
resident
or,
non-
yeah.
Just right with
Okay.
that. So I'm-
We'll discuss that with the administrators.
She just,
BJ did,
she said that it was originally started because there was neighbors that just wanted something that was not next door, which is another app. So they kind of just got together and started something just as a way to communicate as neighbors. And it's just grown, but
All right.
while I'm up here, can I close out one thing from before, when you were talking about scanning of the house plans and
Mhm.
stuff? Someone just asked, how will people be notified of that? How will they find out?
As soon as Scott, as they get them digitized, they will reach out.
Okay. So the
Uh,
article,
Yeah, but just to let them know, if they'll reach out to you, but if you don't, come get them
pretty quick.
pretty quick. I mean, we've got obviously hundreds and hundreds of those things and we don't have storage space for them.
Okay. And one one other quick thing, we're getting a lot of comments that when anybody out here says something, they have no idea what the question was. So maybe either who's standing here or one of you guys can repeat the question before,
Thank you.
or you can step up.
Just seeing everyone, there's 33 people.
Awesome. That's great.
33 people online tonight. That's the most we've ever had. You're up, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening. Hello, everybody. I'm Dana Janke from the Finance Committee. So current things that we're doing, they're also ongoing. You've heard a lot of them before, as I discussed before with Dennis. Working with the treasurer to evaluate needs versus investments. I basically gave that analogy of how we take needs every time we have the opportunity to invest as CDs turn over. So we talked about that before. I think that got on the microphone. That's ongoing, and really the treasurer and the finance committee are super on top of that and make decisions as they come up. We're evaluating the tax returns from 2024 and 2025 for accuracy and risk. And that will be ongoing. I want to make sure that we're comfortable, the board is comfortable with what was reported. We had that change of management company, so we're going to do that as well. We're constantly reviewing the changing budget submissions. When things come up as a result of the budget meeting, we make changes based on the feedback from everyone, and are particularly concerned with getting it as accurate as possible. And we talked about some things in that meeting that we can do to make it even better. And we use feedback from the committee chairs to help us with that process as well as the reserve needs. And we're going to update the reserve study as well. Projects completed, we reviewed we're reviewing and monitoring financials to prepare for any treasurer change in the event that happens. As you know, when we get a new board member, they kind of sometimes, not necessarily, kind of shift their roles. So you might have someone move into a president, any of the roles. So in the event the treasurer changes, it's very important that there's a consistency of treasurer, regardless of the abilities of the treasurer. We'd like them to be able to just jump right in and be up and going without too much time frame. And then we have consistency year after year, which is really important, especially in the finance. Again, evaluating investment strategies, interest rates. We talked about that. Procedure guidelines for treasurer duties to ensure smooth transition. We're working to map the reviews. This is reserves. This is going to take a little bit of time. We want to map the reserves a little bit better for both budgeting purposes, which is kind of one of the requirements of North Carolina. As long as we communicate what we're doing with those reserves, and of course we report them, they're on the budget, they're going to be approved, but we want to make sure that we don't have any lack of funding with respect to any of the amenities. That's our primary goal. So we really want to map the reserves a little bit better, like we've been doing with the ARC, and that previously wasn't mapped as well. So that's ever changing, but we really need to nail that down. We're going to do some changing of the Excel spreadsheets. What we want to do is make it so that if you make a change to the income and say you're going to have 1% increase, 2%, 3%, 5%, 10%, and you can compare it, but we want it to be dynamic. So when you just put in a change, it changes the whole column. So that'll make it easier for the treasurers as well. Expenses are a little more difficult to do that with because you have to evaluate each and every line. But we want to make them more dynamic so that they're more user-friendly. There's also some apps out there specifically for HOAs. We're going to look into and see if there isn't some apps that might help us as well. And we're, again, activities project plan to start. We're working with committees for ramp and clubhouse. You know, that's ever changing, as Charlie is constantly telling us. We want to evaluate the needs and timelines to plan for high dollar updates and repairs. And anybody's always welcome to email me. Chad has my email. If you want some more detail or want some things fleshed out, I'm happy to respond. Okay.
Thank you, Dana.
Thank you.
Just to kind of
Exact, three major items that are coming up within the next 5 years. The boat ramp, which is, Charlie just said, I mean, we're looking at late next year to start that project. So, I mean, we've got one more budget cycle and one more input of reserve money from the dues before that hits. And then a year or two down the road, you know, what we're sitting in is going to require a substantial amount of money to whatever we end up doing. If we, you know, just expand this building or this way, that way, you know, whatever that comes to, and obviously that's, you know, let's just be completely transparent. I mean, the boat ramp is $2 million or thereabouts. If a clubhouse expansion it's to not underestimate, you're probably looking at $1 million. And then the rest of the roads, it costs us about $600,000 for not quite half of the roads.
40%.
Yeah, 40%. So we're guesstimating $800,000 for that. And that's, you know, within the next 5 years. So just to be completely transparent, we want everybody to know, you know, what those big ticket items are. We always say big ticket, but we don't give a number to it. So that's what we're talking about. So that's what Dana and her team have been helping the board get our arms around it, so we kind of know, instead of just going year to year and looking at, hey, we're going to increase it this amount this year and we'll worry about next year. We're trying to come up with a 5-year plan. So if we raise it 5% every year for the next 5 years, what are we looking at? If we raise it 6 or 7 or 10, where are we at in that process, and what amount of money are we going to have in the reserve at the end of all of these projects? And at the end of that, so we've got this amount of money, how long before we're going to need another substantial piece for whatever other amenity we're going to have to upgrade? So thank you, and thank you for your team. Next is grounds.
I guess
Are
that's
you
me.
grounds too?
I got a bunch of slackers for you, so. All right, grounds. They've stopped watering because of the drought, just so you know, after we get fined. They looked at cutting down the 2 dead trees that are large oak trees haven't removed. The price is about $3,000. They want to trim and raise the canopy around. People are complaining that their campers and some parts of their boats, as they're coming in, are getting hit. To clean up all that is $3,300. To trim and raise the canopy at parking areas around the pool, that's another $2,400. And then to clean up the rest of the community, cutting up bushes and stuff and some dead trees that are around, is another $1,700. So when we talk about budget and stuff, you know, keeping the community running and looking good isn't cheap. That's all I can tell you. That some of the estimates that we had, he got in, he's getting more, but they've all been pretty much the same. Any questions?
Some of the stuff we can do ourselves.
I don't know. Actually, that would be a good question to get with Vince. Vince knows the stuff with trees. If you get a pole saw and stuff, we might be able to do it, and we might be able to save a lot of money. The question is some of the stuff we can do ourselves.
Now, the problem we run into with doing it ourselves is poor Charlie. The issue that revolves around that is we take a risk every time we have a volunteer do something, because if they get hurt, we're going to pay for it. So if you get, well, if we get, someone who's licensed and bonded and they get hurt, it's on them. So, and just, I've fallen down there too, not working, just trying to get in and out. So I know that it can be very dangerous down there. Member orientation, Judy, woo, rocking and rolling.
resigned as co-chair, but she still is a member. Okay, so our committee is still full at this time. I just want to say we appreciate everybody who might be interested in joining. And as soon as we have a spot, we will let anybody know. So the date for our next event will be sometime in October 2026 after the board meeting, and we'll be rolling on that one. The member welcome event was held on June 23rd here at the clubhouse. We invited 22 new lot or homeowners and 9 new households attended. It was really nice. We had 18 people, very friendly. It was probably one of our best attended events. Plus everybody seemed to hang out and talk and visit and get to know each other. We were here till almost 9 o'clock, which is unusual. We also welcomed Melinda Collins as a rep from the Boats and Docks for a very well-received presentation. Melinda, we got a lot of compliments on our surveys about your presentation, so thank you. Also, we had a website tour by Bob O'Mara and Vicki McKinney, and that was appreciated too. So we're going to start planning for our fall event. We have no budget issues, thank you to the board, and we are not adding any members, and we're making Mary Ann a regular now.
Thank you. And the one before would have attended them all along, because it is, you get a lot of information, even if you've been here a couple of years. There's a lot of good information, so they do a tremendous job. So, thank you.
I've attended all of them, but only because I was made to.
I see, but everybody, yeah, goodie prizes and raffles for the new members. You guys who've been here a while, we just want to see your smiling faces. But you're all welcome to come, and it's a great place to meet our new members.
I was gonna say, fantastic way, and you find out a little bit about them, so you kind of get to know them a little bit as well. Ponds and Fountains, Bill, there he is.
Good afternoon. I'm Bill Justice, Chairperson, Ponds and Fountains. As of our last meeting, which was on May 21st, we had 100% operational status of all the ponds, fountains. Within about 2.5 weeks after that, 5 of the 8 lakes that are dependent on rainwater and runoff as their main source of feed had levels drop below the safety level of operating the fountains and the lights. In order to protect that equipment, we had to discontinue use of that until levels increase in those 5 ponds to the point where it's safe to operate it. Out of the 8 lakes, 3 of the lakes are well fed, and those fountains and lights had continued to run. We manage the levels in those 3 lakes manually with just on-off switches, run for 5 days, shut off for 5 days. So as of this point, we have shut those fountains down as well in order to help conserve water through losses through windage and drift. We don't have any current projects other than our monthly treatment of the lakes. We're still treating the lakes with the processes to maintain algae and keep clarity. We don't have any future. This is done by our contractor, Total Lake Care. We don't have any future projects for the next 6 months, and we have no budget issues or reserve issues, and we have had no additions or deletions from our committee.
Thank you.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'm Nancy Casey. I'm standing in for Carla for the social committee. So since the last report that we've had quite a few activities. One of them was the Memorial Day picnic, and that was 114 people signed up for the event. Johan, just saw him. Johan served as the grill master this year, cooking the burgers and the hot dogs. Side dishes were provided by members, and we also had some delicious desserts. So then in June, we had the kids' pool party, and we had 9 kids show up. I think we had 9 that signed up and 9 showed up. And all the parents and grandparents that actually came with those kids were really happy to see the activity that we did with those kids. We really kept them busy. Lorraine was the person on the side of the pool that kept the activities going for the kids. She didn't let them stop. So that was good. And the parents actually stepped in and started playing with the kids during those activities. So I watched on the edge. So that puts us into August. So August 15th, we're going to host the Awesome August. We're going to have an arts and craft fair. It's going to be here in the clubhouse. I think right now, as of this time, I've heard there's about 10 tables that will be set up for the arts and crafts fair. It'll start at 4:30. They haven't really decided how long they're going to go. I think they talked about maybe when the band starts up. So probably, I'm going to guess about 2 hours. But so the craft fair will be at 4:30 here. The food truck and the music is going to be in the water park again. Food truck will start at 5:30. Music will start at 6:30. And so bring your own chairs and your own bottles of booze. Have fun down there for August. September, we have end of season Labor Day event scheduled for September 7th. And we're going to have Smithfield's chicken and smoked pork barbecue buffet here in the clubhouse, starting at 5 o'clock, followed by music at the water park at 6 o'clock. And that puts us into September. So October, we also have our second annual poker run, and Oktoberfest on October 10th. So that puts us all the way through October. We've had 2 new members sign up with the committee, and that's about all I have.
Thank you.
Structures, what did we have done? We put a new toilet seat in the woman's bathroom and pool house. We put a new door on the woman's bathroom and clubhouse. You guys are like, I don't know, it's some angry women around.
Getting a little wild. I believe they also put in a new sign in the weight room.
New sign in the weight room. The big thing for structures right now is basically the pickleball courts. That'll be going down and stuff. $30,000, give or take. They're gonna fix the cracks, they're gonna level it off, take out the high spots, raise the low spots, and recoat it, reline it. And they said that's good for 7 to 10 years, give or take. And the other thing would be if we had to, next year, we'd have to replace it completely, it'd be over $100,000. So we figured we'd go with, let's push it back a little bit and give us some breathing room.
Are they using
What's that?
the poles for the tennis?
Oh,
courts or-
and we're working on the tennis court poles also. They have to take out all the poles because they're causing part of the cracks. The guy would not guarantee it wouldn't crack again if we left all the poles in. So we're gonna get movable tennis posts and to keep everything so there's nothing in the ground to cause extra cracks. Okay.
Why, instead of cashing it, costing $30,000, why don't we spend the other 7, which is basically what we're getting off of our dividends off mutual fund proceedings, and just get the damn thing fixed, right?
He wants to know why we don't just pay 100 or over 100 for repairing versus paying 30. It was a decision from the board to get it done and push off stuff because we have some other big bills coming up that we're unsure of what they're gonna be.
Yeah, but in 5 years, we don't know what that 100,000 costs us then.
It might be 7, might be 10. And you might have to redo it in 10 anyway, so.
Sure. Fix it. What I noticed about where the main crack is. Down the center is there's no rebar in there.
There's never be rebar, it's asphalt, it's not cement.
So it's just thick asphalt, no cement base and then asphalt on top.
One of the reasons the cracks are there is when they fixed it the last time, which was 5 years ago, and the guys did not do a good job. They put cement in the cracks that were in the asphalt. Cement and asphalt expand at different rates, and that's caused the cracks to get bigger. That's one of the, at least people are gonna use an epoxy resin that actually is flexible.
Okay.
But how much
we were
we
just
spent
on in the past like 6, 7 years.
Well, I wasn't on the board then, but if
Best I can remember, they repaired it back.
it's been 5 or 6 years ago, and if I'm not mistaken, I think we spent about $40,000 on it then. And it wasn't fixed. It was not fixed right to begin with. Water was pooling already in that corner not long after. And they came out and actually fixed that afterwards, and it still pooled. So again, I wasn't coming to the board meetings. I wasn't engaged that long ago. I just remember hearing the amount and then the complaints afterwards that it wasn't done well.
It is a major amenity, that's why we're fixing it. But we have other major amenities that are coming up that. Now you'll be the first one to say, oh, we can't fix the boat ramp, we spent $100,000 for football courts.
Yeah.
What's that?
There's still gonna be. Well, we might get 5 years out of.
Hey.
Great. You're looking at the service like with maybe a coating or something, that's great.
So, just real quick, nobody on Zoom can hear anything you're saying. So you can come up here at the comments section time and tell us all about it, but we want to make sure that they hear. We got 33 people there, so we want to make sure they hear everything. Nominating committee, ma'am.
Hey, guys, I'm Bonnie Fielder.
Secretary.
So we have 2 nominees that they're done. All of the bios are in. So we shook out, I think, 5 or 6 nominees, and we got 2 that are standing. So the bios are going out and the vote will be going out in the mail with the packet from the management company. So there'll e-blast will get out for the questioning. We need everybody to, not everybody, don't do all that. But if you have a question that you'd like to hear from the nominee at our get to know the candidates night, there's a comment box at the front here, at the front door. You can put them in there, and the committee, me and Becky and Judy George and Mike, Bill Adams, thank you. I've got it right here, I just didn't read it.
So not
Yeah.
only can you put it in the box to be completely anonymous, and if you want to put your name on it, that's fine, but they will remove your name. So the candidates will not know, none of us will know who it came from. You can also send it to Paul at CAM OIB.
Mhm.
He will collect them as well if you want to send them in. He will remove the names before he even sends them to us. So he would be the only person that would know the name, and he's not going to reveal them to us. So anonymous either way. Her committee will sit down and go through, like it's in previous years. They'll go through the questions. They will select groups. Like if you got 15 about pickleball, or 15 about what it, any other type of question, if they're relatable, they'll separate them out. And since we do have two candidates, we should be able to probably get through at least 8 questions for each candidate, depending on how fast they answer. It's possible to get through 10. So be ready. The candidates.
You did not miss it. I didn't tell you because he jumped in.
I'm
and
sorry.
started.
I just wanted, you didn't. Go ahead.
Our candidates are Dennis Henson and Summer Joe Wallace.
My role. Now, when I say role, it's not really a role. It's
Yeah,
just,
he's leaving.
it's just a person. So what happens is, once the new person is elected, that current board will come back to the clubhouse and they will decide amongst themselves by a vote what position each person takes in this particular board. So, to Dana's point, what she was talking about, since, a treasurer today on the next board may not be a treasurer, so that's why they're so involved in it. So again, Bonnie's secretary this time. If she might be next time, or she might be something else. So that'll be something that the current board will decide, and then
Meet the candidates is August the 3rd at 7 here in the clubhouse.
So we did that as well. So you will get to meet the candidates before you receive your
packet.
Because in years past, sometimes they were so close together that sometimes you got the packet and people voted before actually the candidate night. So and that candidate, the packet will be mailed
this week.
Well, it should be mailed next week. So it'll be well beyond the 30 days that's required. So you'll actually be getting it earlier this year than we've ever sent it out.
There'll be an invoice in there, right? This
Yeah.
year for the for your dues. There will be an invoice in there, and I don't know that there was last year.
There was not one last year. It was implied in there last year, but we got a lot of feedback that people didn't get individual invoices. So one of the ways to save money and spend your money wisely, it typically costs us between $800 and $1,200 just to send the packet out. And then when we send additional invoices to everybody, you're talking about another $600. So what we decided to do this year is in the packet will be your invoice for your dues. So you'll have that well in advance as well. And we'll be able to save postage and all that printing on the actual invoice. Now, if you would like to have an actual invoice, you can contact Paul and he will mail you an individual invoice. But we thought by providing it, when you get it in September, you'll have it several months in advance, and it will actually save the community money by doing it that way.
Any other questions? Okay.
Awesome. Technology, David.
Hello, everyone. I'm David Fielder. I'm the technology chairperson. So a couple of things that has happened since our last meeting. You'll see some signs around here in the clubhouse. We set up guest Wi-Fi in here with a password. So if you're having trouble getting on guest or Wi-Fi, we did send out blast for that. The passwords here is very simple. Oyster Harbor. It's the password, all one word, lowercase. You get on. We separated out the administrative side for Paul and that team so that it's locked off from everything that the guest has access to for a little bit more security from that standpoint. I did complete the vendor reviews with all the different systems that we have. And the biggest one that we had some benefit from was the Focus Broadband. There's quite a few phone lines and things that we have that we no longer need, which is going to bring some money back to our budget as well. So we'll be turning some of those off moving forward. And we're looking at a couple other things that are on that bill as well to possibly turn off also for additional savings. I have gathered all of my initial documentation and everything I needed for all the systems, and I'm putting that together, and we'll have that for the board soon, probably before the next meeting. We also am working, as Bob mentioned earlier, I'm working with communications to set up a centralized file management system so that all of our committees have somewhere to store all of their documents. And that way, as board members change and new positions take over and different committee change people, they'll always have an archive of some of the files and things that are out there for that. So that should be started here soon. I'll have a proposal to the board probably within the next week or so of what that looks like to get that going. I'm also working to clean up the closet in here where all the cabling and stuff is a mess, so I can stand in there when I'm doing something. Right now, I'm standing on a couple boxes and a couple other things, so working on that piece. As Charlie mentioned, I worked with the vendor for our access system to look at the boat ramp arm and gathered what we needed to do that. That's going to get started underway. Once that's finished, we will be putting a camera at this gate as well, so that we can add that into the camera system. And we're also looking at another camera on the right side of the entrance gate to catch the big trucks going through, to make sure that we're catching if damage is done and who's doing that damage as well. So those couple cameras will be added as well as soon as we get the infrastructure. The people that are doing the arm are going to put in some network infrastructure for us to hang the cameras as well. So we'll have that going. And then finally, let's see. Let's see, I think that's about it. We'll finish up all of the documentation and get all of that stuff done and get that back. But other than that, that's it. Any questions for? Awesome. Thank you. Oh.
Reference the camera at the front gate. Is it going to be possible to get the tag number on the back of the car? Because if you look at the cameras now, any truck going through, they get the bottom part of the truck.
Yeah.
On that camera.
Since we haven't picked out anything to go there yet, we can look at what it takes to do that.
Very beneficial to find out, because a lot of times the trucks are so big you don't even get the name of the company on the side of the door.
Yeah, and where we have a camera right now to pick that up, it's actually back here on the guardhouse, so it's hard to see what's there. And I'm sure they did that because of network and access, but we're able to extend that with bridging, so that's not a problem. So yeah, I don't see why we couldn't. We'll look into what that takes.
I agree. That makes it easier. Everything's reactive, but when they do take something down, At least we can look and see, well, we got a license plate, we actually know.
Yeah, and we do have a license plate reader at the kiosk, but it might not be catching that, so.
Yeah, I don't think it's catching any of the trucks at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, so we can look into that.
Thank you, David. All right, unfinished business, pickleball courts, which might.
Well, I gave you an update already, so.
Oh, what's that? I forgot one thing. I am looking for a couple new members for the team. So if anybody's interested, I did have somebody early on when we started the committee reach out. If they still want to, let me know. But if anybody's interested. Thanks.
All right. Election update, basically, Ani covered that. The 2027 budget, again, want to thank the members who showed up at the last two budget meetings. We will, as a board, be sitting down this Monday and to finalize the 2027 budget. So again, we appreciate the feedback, and we took, or Chad took many, many notes. So we will be finalizing it, and as soon as we get that number, we'll obviously get it out to the community, as well as it will be in the packet along with the actual budget that you'll receive. It basically it'll show you where each dollar is going as far as category and how much is going into the reserve. That's it for that. New business, annual meeting. We basically talked about that already. Annual meeting and the invoice enclosed in the packet. The annual meeting this year is on September the 12th. It's going to be at a different time this year. Typically, we have always done it at 1 p.m. This year, it will be at 10 a.m. So we don't waste everybody's morning waiting around to go and then going, and then it being hours and hours. So this year, again, it will be at Brunswick Electric. If you don't know where that's at, speak to a neighbor. We've had that there probably the last 4 or 5 years, I believe now. We've outgrown the clubhouse. But 10 a.m. on September the 12th. And you will receive, again, your packet probably 40 days this year or 45 days before the actual annual meeting. We're required to have it mailed by 30 days out, but you'll receive it early this year. And boat ramp usage closure for events. So we realized there was a lot of feedback on the July 4th and some confusion. So the board, we wanted to make it crystal clear that that amenity will not be shut down for any event going forward. It will be open to the members. The members pay for it. It should always be open unless it's down for maintenance or repair. It will be open. Next is solicitation within the neighborhood, a hot topic over the last couple of weeks. I actually spoke the day before yesterday with the staff attorney with the Brunswick County Sheriff's Department. I'm sure a lot of you know, some of you may not, that we've had some solicitors in the neighborhood on segways and actually on foot within the last couple of weeks with some resident interactions, to put it nicely. The sheriff was called multiple times. Deputies showed up. The first evening that we had this issue, that sheriff says, yes, we could trespass this individual. I went down there and told them personally, we want them trespassed. One of them was here the very next day, called the sheriff again. I went down there again, and that deputy on the side of the road called his supervisor, who informed him that we couldn't trespass. So that's where we started trying to get in touch with someone at the sheriff's department to get some clarity and consistency on what we could and could not do. part of the reason, and it's crazy as it sounds, the GIS site for the county had our roads as public roads, even though we're a gated community. So they have fixed that. So everyone now understands we are yes, because if it's public, we would like a return on our paving. So that has been corrected in their system. What the staff attorney has told me is that he has reached out to all the sheriff's supervisors at Brunswick County and informed them that this is a private community and we can and will trespass those individuals. So what he suggested is that obviously if someone has a contract with someone, they can come into the community, they can go to that resident's home. However, if you as a resident notice that an individual or someone on a Segway, we're not talking about the name brand, if you see some rid-a-bug truck, commercial truck, that's a little different. But if you see individuals like on Segways or just walk in the neighborhood like these other people were doing, if they come to your home, you are able to call the sheriff, and we encourage you to do that. And the sheriff's department will respond. And if they can find them in here, they will trespass them. If we can determine that they have come into the community around the gates, because each entrance we have has a no trespassing sign. If we can determine that they have come in around a gate or tagged in behind someone, they told us that they would charge them with second-degree trespass as long as we can validate and have photos or whatever. As far as, for example, rid-a-bug, what he suggested, if a company like that is involved and they're going around, they don't want an individual resident approaching that company. They would like the board to do that. So if you see that, if you'll contact one of the members of the board, we can go out there, and if it's a national company, they don't want to be trespassed. So we'll handle that at the site, and then if we have to, we'll contact the main company and let them know that if this happens again, we will trespass them out of our community, which we have done in the past. We had something like this several years ago, and we actually trespassed that company from coming into the neighborhood. So hopefully the deputies will now be on board and they understand that if we call them, that they're allowed to trespass. If a deputy comes out and you as an individual have called them and they say, oh no, we're not allowed to do that, what he suggested is that you tell them in a nice way, please reach out to a supervisor because the information we're giving you has come from the staff attorney from the sheriff's department. And if you don't want to do it, call one of the members of the board. You know, I mean, I won't be on it then, so.
Now I get the.
There you go. Yeah. But they were super, I mean, he was super understanding, and so, you know, they will support us as far as the trespassing piece. Next is care of pool equipment and furniture. Just wanted to bring this up. We've had, obviously, over the last few years, we've bought new furniture, we bought new umbrellas, we bought some new stands here recently to keep the umbrellas from, you know, taking flight. We also spent a lot of money on a handicap lift, and we've had 2 instances now where I'll say kids have gone up there and been playing with and messing with this equipment. So how much did we spend on that, Mike?
$6,000.
We spent $6,000 to help handicapped people use our pool, and we've got, you know, I mean, that's a lot of money. We don't need to be. So please just be aware. If you see something, as they always say, if you see something, say something. because, I mean, you know, we want our residents that need that to be able to use it, and we put a lot of resources into that. So we just wanted everyone to be mindful. Also, when you are finishing up the day at the pool, when you've got the umbrella up and everything else, if you would please lower the umbrella. Like I said, we did buy some more heavy-duty, sturdy umbrella bases, and they've been installed. But even that, with a, you know, one of these thunderstorms, if those umbrellas are up, that thing's not gonna, and it could hurt someone. We definitely don't want that. We don't want the money that we spent your money for this to
I can add to that, we do buy commercial grade furniture for the pool for 11 chairs and 2 tables. Well, we wanted to replace $4,000. So we just want people to just take care of it and not, you know, we got to buy it. We understand that. And we'd rather buy nicer stuff, but if it keeps getting broke, we went through 3 umbrellas in the first 3 weeks the pool was open. Because they left them open, they blew over and they broke. And no matter what umbrella you buy, it's probably going to break when you leave it open and it blows over and hits the ground. So it's that type of stuff that we're looking at, just trying to maintain it. The other thing is don't bring all your clothes and stuff to the pool and leave them there for people. We had someone, I don't know who, but they brought a bunch of bathing suits and stuff and left them there. I said, free to good home. Donate them somewhere else.
Next is wildlife update. So we wanted to update, I don't know who all in the room and on the Zoom participated in last week's wildlife meeting. We had the I don't even remember his name.
John Henry.
John Henry. That's easy to remember. John Henry from Wildlife come and kind of inform the community about the deer, how deer live within the communities in the areas, and what things that we could do as a community to help with the population. He did tell us at the time, you know, several points. First off, there are programs. There are programs that are free, which involve bow hunting, which we have tried in the past. There's a program where we could actually hire hunters, and just for your information, the board has decided that that is not an option that we are in favor of. We are not in favor and will not allow people with guns to come in here. That is off the table. That was an option that he brought up. We did dismiss that immediately. It's just so if you weren't here that evening, we did try the free program out, which is basically the bow hunting. The way that works is that wildlife gives the community a certain number of tags, and then they have groups that we can give tags to if we want to give a group 1 tag or 5 tags or whatever, and allow them to come in to the community. Now, with that being said, we as a board are only responsible or can allow this on community property only. Well, we don't have a whole lot of community property that's actually woods. I mean, most of our property is you know, 15 feet in front of your house, which obviously we're not going to allow that. And most of our stuff is concrete, asphalt, you know. So we tried this in the past, probably 4 or 5 years ago, maybe 6,
maybe 5.
5 years ago. Those of us who was here, I remember, I wasn't involved in it. I remember discussing it. Mike said he remembers that we got, it's a different number.
It was about 3 deer.
We got anywhere from 2 to 6 is kind of who you talk to at that time. So it was a free program. We only got rid of between 2 and 6. The issue and the problem with it is that residents are very passionate one way or the other. There's nobody that's typically in the middle. You either don't want it passionately or you do. We cannot force a private homeowner to say, agree to allow hunters on their property. So the issue we had last time is we went out and we asked property owners. Those who said yes, they were allowed to hunt on their property. The problem with that is their neighbor may not have, and their neighbor on the other side may not have. Well, you can't just hunt on a half an acre or a quarter of an acre at most when you have 2 neighbors on either side of you saying, no, you're not hunting on my property. So we heard a lot of feedback. What we would like to do is to have some type of town hall or special meeting, if the community as a whole would like to do that, where people can get up and respectfully express their opinions. I know people are very passionate on both sides. So if the community would like to do that, we would love to know the majority of the people, but also knowing that several things that John Henry said. He said, if you expect to kill 20 deer and no one's going to eat your flowers anymore, that is not going to happen, because the rest of the deer are still here and they're going to eat your plants. So with that thought in mind, he also said, if you weren't here at the meeting, that basically we are at a stage where we don't have a huge issue with deer dying from disease because they're still healthy. There's still enough vegetation. We have plenty of, well, I'll say plenty of ponds with water. We have 3 really good ponds with water in it that there's, so they have drinking water. They still have wooded areas in the neighborhood to keep cool during the day, and there's still vegetation for them to eat. And unfortunately, sometimes it's in people's yards. But just take those into account when you think about, again, if your whole goal is you don't want deer eating your plants, that is never going to happen. Because even if we killed every single deer in this neighborhood, these deer go in and out of all these neighborhoods. The buck has a range of 15 miles. He travels and travels. So just think 15 miles from here is a good ways that they're traveling in and out. The doe are not quite as far, but they do travel in and out of the community. And if you killed every one of them today, next spring, they're going to be traveling in, the babies are going to be moving in. So, and I know that, again, we're at a stage where it's really a cultural issue, is the way he posed it. We're not at the level where they would come in and say, oh my gosh, you got dying deer falling into the ponds. They're dropping over in people's backyards from disease. We're not at that level yet. So it's really up to the community. Do you want a town hall where that is just specifically for that issue?
Do we do a survey?
We can do a survey to see, do you want to do a survey and not a town hall? Do you want a town hall? What is, I mean.
One of the other questions that was brought up is, if you don't want someone, you'd have to say, I don't want them on my property, and they won't go on your property. If you do say you can go on my property, there's a liability if they screw up on the person that said you can hunt on my property. So you could, if, say, the stray arrow ricochets off the antler, I don't know, I'm not a hunter, kill somebody else, you're going to be responsible if you gave me permission to hunt on your property. You're part of that liability package. So it's something just keep in mind when you think about this stuff. I'm
Now,
one of the people in the middle.
so I'm just saying, I mean, I don't, we're not trying to persuade anybody. That is not our job as a board. We're going to do what the community as a whole wants to do. We're just telling you, you know, what John Henry said and just some of the facts and some of the background on when we tried this before. Go ahead.
Up here.
Well, we want to hear from the community. So if we don't have a town hall, if there's not enough interest for a town hall where everybody comes together so we can hear all your opinions, the only other way we're going to get your opinions is if you email us, send it to us, talk to us out and about to let you know. I mean, I mean, I'll just say personally, I don't want to do it, but it's just my personal opinion. I'm going to do what my vote is going to be what the majority of the community wants to do.
Charlie, can you come up?
For the board, as it pertains to CCNRs, I know we talked about, obviously most people I feel don't want people discharging firearms in the neighborhood. I think that's a good call, and I'm glad you guys feel that way. My question is, based on the CCNR, is there anything for residents on their own property to hunt a deer in season in regulation with their own tags with a crossbow or compound bow? Because firearms, there's dwelling regulations. Is there anything in the CCNR for somebody taking deer on their own property in season based off the law of North Carolina? That's my other question.
I don't know.
I searched.
I would say there's no.
I searched the CCRs. I searched for keywords, hunting, bow hunting, guns.
Firearms, there is nothing in the CCNRs that relates to any of that. So there is nothing prohibiting it. There's nothing in there that says either way. It's just not listed in there at all. However, I mean, I believe we are unincorporated. I'm not sure exactly what, well, there is, you can get in trouble for firing two. And wait a minute. No, I'm just saying. I did not bring a name up. Just saying. So, and as well, too close to a occupied structure is also a no-go. So if anybody wants to know like exactly how that works, the back of the room can tell you. But yes, so there is nothing that I have been able to find, and I searched, like keyword search, nothing in there.
You have another question, Johan? Did you have a question? Can you go?
I attended and I listened to what he presented, and Mr. Henry provided a lot more information than what Brian and Mike were able to present to you today. What he was talking about was managing the population. He was not talking about eradication, although he provided that option.
Yes, he did.
And I think that a town hall forum would be a good place to explain that. He said that they could issue DMAP tags to the board, who could distribute those DMAP tags as they see fit. They could set all the terms for their use, meaning say you can only hunt here from a stand, shooting in a safe direction. They could tell when you could hunt. They could determine all of the terms to safely manage the populations. And he said that we are over the healthy limit for what our property can support. And so I think what we're talking about is just some low level management. His biggest suggestion was start by taking 10 a year. See how it works.
What does that mean?
That's not going to do. It will manage the population. They won't eat as many plates.
Hey, 100-pound people put pictures all over.
One second, please. Okay.
All right.
So
Town hall.
our goal in the new business was to give an update. So we are moving into the questions
And comments,
So that way,
each individual can come up here
Right.
and comment. Yeah. Okay.
And a separate.
And I believe that was recorded and put it on the
Yeah.
website.
Yeah, it is for everyone's, we did record that. And it is on the website. If you weren't here and would like to hear the entire presentation, it is on the website. It was about an hour and 15 minutes or something like that. So it is, the entire thing is if you want to go back and look at it, it's out there for you. Next is the member comments and questions. So
Line up.
I just have two things about the wildlife control or save the deer by killing them. The first one is a decision as to whether like you said, Brian, is the community going to do this? So if you have a town hall or a survey, what I would suggest is that the board put together some sort of panel, pro people, not so pro, or against, to be able to tabulate and or count those votes. And then if those votes or those wishes are not for doing this, then the community as a whole should live with that decision and not do it. Now, the second thing that I have is that if you do decide, which you've made it perfectly clear, and I appreciate your answer on that, that your property or properties are not going to be involved in this, if you do not want hunting on your property, how do we go about, if the community then, does elect to do it, how do we go about opting out of our property? Because, you can't post it, you can't put signs on it.
Well,
or anything.
we talked about that a little bit, and we have decided that if it does get to that point, then we would allow a no hunting sign in your
part of your property.
Okay.
Well, anybody that allows it, you should probably have them sign a waiver.
yeah, there's a lot. First off, I mean, for the ones who organized it, I know Dan was here at the meeting, and he was involved in it at the time. So if the community wants to do it, we would go into, how do y'all do it? Because from my recollection, what they did last time is if an individual
Wanted to do it, they had to come forward and tell them, yes, I will allow it. And then all that information was given to, and they were very strict. If I remember correctly last time, if one homeowner decided not to, then even if the two on the other side of it wanted it, that board didn't allow it, because how can you hunt on a third of an acre and the two beside you said no?
And
Well,
and then another point on that, was traveling over by Mallard Lake. I found target arrows there. Somebody had either been shooting with a bow, and those things can travel several hundred, even 1,000 feet. And on my back deck,
I found lead slugs from somebody who fired weapons apparently up into the air, and the slug came down right on my back deck. So it's these people. Homes are very close together.
Yeah,
and it's just going to be impossible for somebody to keep their weaponry or ammunition onto their own piece of property. Unless you're shooting at the ground, a snake on the ground. But we had that happen here.
Thank you, Bill.
Did you just sneak in?
Just snuck right
I
in.
thought he was going to the bathroom.
It's gonna upset some people it's not. If you allow hunting on your property, the guy comes in with a bow and arrow. I don't know how many people in here have shot a deer with a bow and arrow. I, for one. You guys? They died right on the spot, right?
Nope.
Thank you. So if that deer gets shot, it's wounded, it goes in somebody else's property, you have to have permission to go onto that property to retrieve that deer. If they go on your property to retrieve that deer, it is now trespassing.
That's true.
Okay. So now you have a dead deer in your backyard and you can watch them flop around for a little bit and bleed out like they do, because that's what happens when you shoot them with a bow 9 times out of 10. Now your neighbor gets to watch that in their own backyard. It's kind of jacked up. It's a mess. It's a mess. If you're tired of the deer eating your plants, then I get it. There is electric fences. If you get electric fence, call me. I'll come over and set it up for you. I'm done. It's not hard. After a while, they leave your shit alone when they keep getting shot. But just think about if you're going to have people come in and shoot deer, what it entails. Okay, it's a mess. I've shot probably 50 of them. It's a mess. So you have to think, is your plant's more important than that deer's life? I get it. Some people, they want their plants, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. Well, it's not. I know it's not about plants. It's also about the management of the deer or disease of the deer. Yeah. So maybe a town hall meeting would be good for it. But just realize that you guys know that have shot deer. There's a lot more to it than just shooting the deer and dragging it off and we're all good.
BJ made a good point online, said, I don't think we allow electric fences too, so.
Yeah, you'll never see them. It's just a little thin wire around your plants. It's more. It's.
Hey, Mo, we got a automated, it's a sprinkler.
Yeah, they got automated sprinklers that when the deer comes near, shoots them with water ants off. I didn't see anything in the CCRs about electric fences. So.
Question, everyone.
I think we need to do a town hall, discuss it in more detail, so everybody.
Don't shoot it, go on deer.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, no, it's nice. Hey. What, sorry,
My name is Lori,
I'm still.
the stage, community resident. I love you all. We're never going to agree on this, no matter what we do. We have got to get it to a community vote, period. No town hall, it's going to be a bloodbath. And we don't want that with one another. We live next to each other. I love my neighbors. I looked forward for 10 years to get here. My brother could testify that, my brother Dave and Jean. They know how much we love the wildlife here. They know how much, and you know that, Summer. I love your cat. My granddaughter goes every morning now and pets her. You know, we love our wildlife here. Please understand that. What I'm asking of the board, to please put it to a community vote. We don't need a town hall. We've heard enough. John Henry spoke very well. And that's what we need. I'm just asking, please bring it to a vote. Let the community speak for the majority of whoever, whatever. And if it goes whichever way, we'll live with the consequences. We can cohabitate. We will anyway. We know anybody on the side of where I'm coming from is going to say the same thing. You know, we're not going to get rid of all the deer, and we don't want to get rid of all the deer. But there are way too many, and I see them every day in my backyard. Today we counted, I think, 8 or 9. That's just one area.
And I have to ask of you, please, as a community, we can divide on a lot of things. Don't have to agree politically, we don't have to agree, with, but we're neighbors and we're members of the same community. I want to see it go to a vote. Then whatever everybody decides, we're going to live with whatever it is. That's what I'm asking. Thank you.
All right, yeah, I'm only gonna be quick. I'll be quick. I'm Judy George, and I agree with everything Lori said, except for the fact the board has already said we're not hiring people to come in and shoot. You don't want to have the bow and arrow people. If you don't give tags to people to shoot with the tags on the guns, why are we voting? Basically.
So it's already decided?
No, I'm not saying they've decided. You can all vote. But then what, if you vote, I'm going to throw it out to you. If we vote, yes, we call the herd, or no, we don't call the herd. Someone's going to have to come up with how are we going to do it. I just want you all to think about it.
That's my point.
Okay,
And that's what I came to.
I was going to say, there's so many deer here, you can't know unless someone shoots them with a
Actually, so I'm Summer Joe.
Hi, Summer Joe.
And I was at that wildlife meeting, and my first thought was, I understand everybody is passionate about their flowers or not, whatever. I love the animals. But my question is point blank, how do we know how many deer there actually are? We do not have a population study. And I asked the question, how do we get that done? It was kind of grazed over and we didn't get a direct answer or a resource. I've reached out to 3 different wildlife organizations, and hopefully we will have some resources of how that can be done. Whether it's done by drones or whether it's done by heat. I just forgot the word. Something like that. I understand those studies can be done, but without that information, what are we really doing? We don't have the facts, guys. That's what we need, is the facts, and then take it to a vote. This is how many deer there truly are. Yeah. Or maybe there's only 50 and it just feels like a lot because they're migrating all over the place, right? But we don't know that answer. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna change the subject. Couple places I've been in the last couple of weeks, I've heard people say they don't know what's going on. They haven't heard about this thing or that thing or whatever else is going on. But if y'all not reading your e-blasts, you're missing out on a lot of good information that comes out on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I'm just here to say, as part of the member welcome, I welcome you to check your e-blast every week.
Anybody?
Okay. Here we go.
Slowly, see kind of the list.
Yes.
Yes. Lots and lots of deer comments on. So I'll save those because mostly it's just comments. But actual questions. I'll just start with an easy one. Will the Meet the Candidates be on Zoom?
Yes.
Okay, yes. And can we not make a choice to have things sent electronically versus mailed to us to save money?
Can you tell us who please state the names of the people so that
well,
you're right.
Okay. So Stacy, and there's no last name, asked about the Meet the Candidates on Zoom. Stacy and Alan, I don't know who that is. Can we not make a choice to have things sent electronically versus mailed to us? That is Kellogg. Does that make sense to you all? I didn't know it. I didn't know.
As far as, are they talking about the candidate package or and the
Whole pack.
the whole packet.
Yes.
Voting.
My question says that when you mentioned that stuff is going out to the annual.
Yes.
Yeah, does it have to go out?
We have to mail that, but I will tell you that we are researching electronic voting. And hopefully we'll have that next year. So that will save part of the packet, but we're required to send like budget information. But hopefully we'll be able, our current management company is doing it in a couple of their other neighborhoods. So they're, have all the information. So the plan is, well, the next board, I'm not sure, but is to have electronic voting. So that would cut down on some of the paperwork that goes out. So that would take some of the postage and away.
Audrey and Bob Doucette and Wiley Southern had several comments about the water levels in the ponds. And is there any way to pump water into the fountains or ponds that are low? They want an update on increasing water levels in the ponds. Would like emails sent out about the pond water levels because it's an immediate concern.
So Bill reached out to our lake company. He is out of town on vacation, but he will be back next week. And we're going to set up a meeting with him for him to give us options. So apparently this occurred several years ago when there was an issue in Cardinal. They had to drain Cardinal and they pumped that water over into Osprey at that time. So that was for maintenance, but so we know that that occurred at that time. What we're meeting with him is, how do you do it?
What's it called?
What does it cost? The one issue that we've also got to find out is that particular well is several hundred feet down. It's in the aquifer, which is where Brunswick County gets all of our water. So we've got to find out if Brunswick County will even allow us to take additional water. And also, how much water are we talking about? There's no way we can fill up Osprey. The best case scenario, if we're allowed to use the water and it's not cost prohibitive to get water over to that quickly, since it's a direct connect, is 3 inches of water in that entire pond. That's an astronomical amount of water in that large pond. But just raise it a few inches. So is it feasible? So that's what we're meeting next week. I think it's the end of next week. I believe is the earliest time he can come up with all the options. As soon as we have all the options, we will absolutely be communicating to the community what our options are. That being said, that's the only direct link. If we could even do that, that's the only pond that's got a direct link from Cardinal. There's no possible way to pump water into that and then pump water into this one and then this one into that one. It's simply not possible. And someone mentioned something about pumping from Russell Hewitt. We would be pumping upgrade. The only way you could possibly do that would be with hoses. And I don't care what kind of hose you got. There's no way to pump enough water out of there into a pond and get any, we want to save the fish. We want to save the bottoms of the lakes. But our best case scenario is it rains and rains and rains.
My lawn.
But yes, so we will, as soon as we get that information, we will be communicating it to the community.
not to fill them up, but just to prevent them.
Right. And that would be what our ask would be is, can we get enough into whatever ponds we can reach just to preserve the bottom of the ponds, to make sure that they don't dry out and crack, and then it would be bad. Sure.
Joe Carosa. I understand most of the ponds have inflows.
And most of them are connected to each other as they fill up, especially in a storm that they flow from one to one to one, and they end up in Russell Cuban.
And then get a little flood.
Yeah.
Has there ever been a study on the inflows, if they're working the way they should be working?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Because I know for a fact my pond is an inflow, and the grade on that inflow is graded towards the street, not towards the pond. So my question is, if there's no, so you always go back to the root cause of a problem. Problem is the ponds are low. Obviously, we know there's a drought, but if the root cause is the inflow, and we don't know if those inflows are flowing properly, it's just something to maybe research.
To my knowledge, no one has ever.
Said with the additional camera being added to the water park, please consider adding cameras to the boat and trailer storage area.
Yeah. Question. I mean, the answer. Yeah, great question. We've done it. That was funny. That was funny.
Okay, now the rest is deer comments.
Great question.
Okay. Sherry Jackson says she's totally opposed to killing any deer. Stacy and Alan, again, don't know who that is. Hunting is incompatible with residential areas and compromises community safety. Gary and Paula Laylock said on the deer topic, a hosted town hall would be appreciated for respectful dialogue and decision making. Sherry Jackson again said, has anyone conducted an actual deer population survey, like Summerville said, density estimate, habitat impact assessment, landscape damage, vehicle collision analysis, and residents, I think, complaint documentation? Sherry Jackson also said, yes, survey and town hall meeting. PETA can get involved real quick. Mary Rogers says, if there is not a necessity, why have a town hall? I am against using any of our HOA money for this. Robert Helsinki says it's dangerous to have hunters in the neighborhood. Mary Rogers said, have you found out how much deer population we have to make this a necessity? Stacy said, hunting in a community is never safe. Sherry said, go hunt somewhere else. Janice Campbell said he did not say that, so I'm not sure what she's referring to, but he said we don't have a deer problem. We have a culture/people problem, and if we choose to manage them, he would allow us to do that. Our deer are healthy. I love the wildlife in our community. It is our best amenity. Robert Kosenki, if you kill 10 deer a year, it will not make a difference. BJ said you cannot prevent the animal that has been hit from traveling onto an adjacent property before collapsing. Gary and Paula, if we're hosting a town hall, should we be discussing this so deeply right now? Sherry, we need coexistence strategies and habitat-based solutions. Janice, I agree to the vote, but also I will never allow it on my property. And how will you enforce that? Doug Kellerman says fishing vote, boat ramp vote, pickleball court vote, clubhouse vote, raising dues votes. We elect a board to make decisions. Some of them are very difficult. Thank you, Judy from BJ. Sheila Kellogg, she says, what about invoices? I think she was the one asking about the mailing.
Right.
Okay. And again, not to, then they're not happy with our microphone job. and Mary. Can people just be patient and wait for a hard rain? That's it.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, so our next meeting is the annual meeting or scheduled meeting. Is the annual meeting on September the 12th at 10 a.m. I will be there smiling. Oh, meeting adjourned at 8:53.